Good afternoon, everyone, and hope everyone's having an amazing morning. Why am I on this early, right? I had an amazing conversation with my mom yesterday, and one thing that we all should do is have more conversations with our parents. Because there's a lot of things that we don't know about ourselves that we should know because our past is defined by who we are today. So why did I title this "What are you grateful for and thankful for?" Right? And what would life be if I couldn't hear? Um, as a kid, I was born deaf. I could not hear. My mom was telling me yesterday that when I was discovered of a kid that I couldn't hear from either ear, um, I was in position to not be able to absorb anything that people would tell me that I wasn't gonna hear ever again. My mother's a big fighter, and God bless her to this day. That's why I love my mom to death, and that she fought for me. She went to major doctor appointments to get me to where I am. But the story is as follows. I came to the United States at 9 months old. I was born in Puerto Rico, and I came to the United States at 9 months old. When I came here, my parents my mom especially, because my dad was working, she automatically was rushing me to a specific doctor. And yesterday she was telling me that she feels that this doctor did a malpractice, but at the time we didn't have what everyone has now, the access to the community to change things, right? So my mother went to a doctor that took 4 procedures to fix my hearing. A few procedures she did one procedure, and she said that there was a couple of pus coming out of my ear, like it was an infection that was going on in my ears. And it happened several times. There was several moments that these things happened. And the reason why I'm sharing with you this is because in my adulthood, I was always made fun of my ears. Hence the reason why I wore this hat for this video is because, this was one of my self-conscious things that I didn't want to do. I didn't want to put my hat backwards because I always felt that my ears would enhance, and people would make more fun of it. And trust me, I've heard every joke that has to do with my ears growing up. I used to get upset. I used to fight back, and got to a point that people would actually, I would actually hate people for doing that. But little did I know that what people were making fun of was a blessing that God had given me at an early age. But if I didn't ask questions, I would have never known that these ears possibly could not have hear. It was to a point that I couldn't hear through these amazing ears that I have right now, as big as they might get, as big as they are, or as little as they may be, that there was a point in my life that I could not hear. What would life be like if I couldn't hear? If I couldn't express myself the way I do? Sometimes I ask myself that if I couldn't hear, where would I be? And a lot of times, like for me, I use a phrase, #live out loud. I couldn't even be able to do that. And sometimes we ask ourselves, why are we who we are, right? Why are we so outgoing, so loud, so expressive? I didn't even understand what that meant until yesterday, until I had this conversation with my mom. And now I understand why I'm loud, why I live out loud, is because there was a point in time that I couldn't even speak, and my voice wasn't clear. My vocabulary was all over the place. There was a point in time that I used to speak very low tone, and people used to say, "What? Speak a little bit louder." And I was afraid to be louder because I didn't want to be too loud. And now I know where that came from. Back to my childhood. I got tubes put in my ears, and it took 5 surgeries in my ears for me to actually finally start hearing again, or start hearing in general. So what happens is that they put these tubes in my ears, and then they disintegrate inside, wherever that meant, and I was able to hear again. So why am I making this video is that my life to where it is right now, I'm blessed. I'm blessed beyond measure because one of the things that I never had is I didn't have the art of listening. I was a very bad listener. I was more of a talker than I was a listener. And sometimes when I spoke, I didn't make sense. So maybe one of you, somebody out there that might be watching this, you're probably in position that you're so uncomfortable and you feel like you feel self-conscious that you can't do something, right? So I'm here to tell you that I lived that life. I lived that self-conscious life that I didn't like. I was afraid to be made fun of, and I was, no matter what, I was made fun of in my youth. You know, it made me very self-conscious about how I wore my hat, or how I spoke, or was I listening enough, and and it turned out to be a lot of arguments. So, but if it wasn't for me taking charge of my life in my later years, which is I'm gonna say in the past year, I took ownership of my life, and I began to start teaching myself what I need to start doing better so that I can become better. And that's all thanks to the angels in disguise that I have in my life. God sends me all these angels to empower me, to give me this amazing gift inside of me because something I might have missed, or telling me that you are amazing, or telling me that you have a gift from God, or telling me that, keep pushing. Doesn't matter what people say. Just, it's what you do. Whatever you do, whatever you're meant to do, keep doing it, Hector. And sometimes we need that person in our lives. We need that push in our life because sometimes we don't know what to do. We're lost in translation. We're lost because we don't even know our own past, because we leave it where it lies. But sometimes it's great to go back into your past and actually start listening to your parents, to a person who raised you, to the person who was there for you every step of the way when you were struggling. Some of you hate your parents. Some of you dislike the people in your life, in your future, in their past. But I'm gonna tell you that those people fought for you, because as a kid you probably wasn't all there. Like I wasn't all there. I wasn't all there when I was a kid. I couldn't hear. I just couldn't hear. I couldn't absorb what people were telling me. Imagine today if I couldn't hear. Imagine today if I couldn't, if people were trying to express themselves to me and give me their mistakes, or their wrongdoings, their negativity, their unpositivity, and if I couldn't hear them, I wouldn't be able to deliver the gift of God. My gift of God is faith and positivity. I already know. I discovered that, right? But God gave me this gift at the beginning stages of my life so that I can be able to discover who I am. He said, Hector, don't worry. I'm going to make you here today. And you're going to have a tough life until a certain age, because that's when you're going to need your hearing the most. And this is me thinking about it because it took me 36 years. 36 years to actually understand the art of listening. And listening, guys, is such a powerful tool that for me, I am grateful for. I am thankful for. That if it wasn't for my mom going from doctor to doctor to doctor to doctor, day in and day out, finding ways to help her son hear, I wouldn't be who I am today. What would my life be if I couldn't hear? I don't know. But that wasn't my plan. That wasn't God's plan for me. So I'm telling you guys right now, whatever you feel that you might be self-conscious of, that is your gift. That is a blessing that God is using for you. Because that is a gift that someone out there right now is holding on to. I'm telling you again, this hat would never have been backwards several years ago. I used to be the type that go like this to hide them, because I was self-conscious, because I was afraid that people was going to look at me and say, wow, look at the ears on that guy. But that whole time, that was God telling me, that is your blessing. That is what you are going to be speaking about one day. So I'm here to tell you guys that I don't want you to live life with regret. Don't live life with self-conscious. I want you to be conscious of your insecurities, because those insecurities are someone else's blessing. And if it wasn't for me studying pushing myself, if it wasn't for me identifying the people that were coming into my life, crossing my path and telling me, Hector, you are somebody. You're going to be someone. Don't stop what you're doing. And I'm grateful and I'm thankful every single day for the angels in disguise that God has put in my path. And I'm grateful for it. So I'm telling you today to be grateful and thankful for what you have. Security or insecurity. For conscious or self-conscious. It could be from the fact that, your ears aren't correct. But you know what? These ears are my blessing. Because now I'm able to hear everybody's story. Now I'm able to hear somebody's negativity that I can inspire so that I can motivate. I want you to find what that is in your heart, in your soul. Whatever made you cry growing up. Because remember that God has a bucket of every teardrop that you have ever shed in your whole life, because eventually He's going to shower you with blessings. Because you are a blessing. We are all a blessing. I am blessed beyond measure to have these amazing ears. I am blessed. And now I can embrace them more. You know why? Because I asked my mom about it. Because I decided to say, Mom, what happened to me as a kid with my ears? And she told me, and I listened. I was able to listen. And now my job, my duty, for me getting to that part, now I'm able to tell you that your insecurity is someone else's blessing. You need to identify it, live with it, and speak about it. Be the voice. Be the change you wish to see in the world. Because you are a blessing. You are an amazing individual. Because I know now I am more than ever blessed beyond measure. I always knew I was blessed, but now I'm blessed beyond measure. All because I identified the one thing that I grew up with that was complete insecurity in my life. And those are these amazing ears that I have today. Because so many people wish and pray day in and day out that they can hear what I can. Because of the sacrifices that my mom made when I was a kid. So if you're out there right now and if you're listening, if you feel that this is something that relates to you, something that is connecting with you, and you feel that you have an insecurity that was made fun of, or you don't feel good in it, and you want to say something about it, I encourage you to say something. Because someone out there is living a life of insecurity, and they will never see their blessings for as long as they hide. So stop hiding. These ears will never hide again. Ever. Because when I'm hiding them, I'm hiding my blessings. Don't hide your blessings. Everything that you're going through right now, all those struggles, all those challenges, through work, through marriage, through relationships, all those things are a blessings in disguise. You may not know this yet, but know that it's coming. But you gotta stay true to yourself. You gotta stay true to yourself. May God bless you all. And I hope you received this message today with blessings. And if you feel that someone out there needs to be blessed, the same way you got blessed for watching this, pay it forward. Share this video. May God bless you all. Have an amazing, positive day. And always remember and never forget to have faith, not fear. God bless.